good to see all of you online today. I'm Jo Celine with the OUUC Tech team. We are leading worship from several locations today. As the service moves back and forth between us, you will be able to see whoever is speaking if you put your screen on speaker view rather than gallery view. And you can see us singing together if you go back to gallery view. We'll also be using the chat box throughout the service to post the song lyrics and to share joys and sorrows. You can turn the chat off and on by clicking the chat icon, so you might want to find that now. We can expect some tech glitches as we continue to do all we can to optimize our connections. We appreciate the grace as we all remember it's about connection, not perfection. One suggestion is that if you're having trouble with your reception, you might try turning off your video to see if that helps. Last, I hope you will find a candle or chalice. In a moment, we can light them together. Thank you for your grace and adaptability as we all learn together.
Good morning. Let's sing together. We're going to sing Somos el Barco. We'll start with the chorus and then we'll add all of the verses in. I'll play the chorus here for us once. Try it together. Somos el barco, somos el mar. Yo navego en ti, tú navegas en mí. We are the boat, we are the sea. I sail in you, you sail in me. The stream sings it to the river sings it to the sea sings it to the boat that carries you and me. Somos el barco, somos el mar, yo navego en ti, tú navegas en mí. We are the boat, we are the sea. I sail in you sail in me. Now the boat we are sailing in was built by many hands, and the sea we are sailing on, it touches many sands. Somos el barco, somos el mar, yo navego en ti, tú navegas en mí. We are the boat, we are the sea. I sail in you sail in me. Oh, the voyage has been long and hard, and yet we're sailing still, with a song to help us pull together, if we only will. Somos el barco, somos el mar, yo navego en ti, tú navegas en mí. We are the boat, we are the sea. I sail in you sail in me. So with our hopes we raise the sails to face the winds once more, and with our hearts we chart the waters never sailed before. Somos el barco, somos el mar, yo navego en ti, tú navegas en mí. We are the boat, we are the sea. I sail in you Let's try the chorus one more time. Maybe if you're in a room with other people, you can harmonize. Here we go, and breathe. Somos el barco, somos el mar. Yo navego en ti, tú navegas en mí. We are the boat, we are the sea. I sail in you, you sail in me. Thank you for singing this morning.
Good morning. Welcome to the Olympia Unitarian Universalist Congregation online worship service. The OUUC community comes together in the mutual promises and possibilities of our covenant. We commit to live out our mission to be a liberal religious community that opens minds, fills hearts, and transforms lives. We are so glad that you are here. I'm Bob Sundstrom, a member of the worship arts team. Leading worship with me today is our minister, Reverend Mary Geer, Sarah Lewis, our director of community and faith development, and Troy Fisher, our music director. We give thanks to the tech team for providing technical support today. And thanks to Darlene Sarkala, our administrator, for keeping us informed and connected. And we are grateful for the many hands that helped make worship happen this morning. We welcome each of you to this celebration of love and wonder and to this congregation. After the service, we invite you to stay online for a virtual coffee hour. This is a chance to gather with a small group to say hello and check in. We'll offer more information at the end of the service. I want to draw your attention to the printed order of service, which includes our announcements available on the website. Please note that the OUUC Giving and Receiving Drive-Through event planned for this afternoon has been postponed due to the smoke and poor air quality. We hope to reschedule for next Sunday from 3 to 4:30 p.m. We'll reconfirm this through the Wednesday electronic update and next Sunday's announcements. Stay tuned. Please join us this Thursday at 7 p.m. for our regular evening of spiritual practice. This Thursday, Sarah Lewis will offer the second in a three-part series on spirit in practice, exploring how we can stay spiritually grounded. You can find out more each week in the Wednesday email update and Sunday announcements. The login information can be found on the OUUC website. Next Sunday, right after the morning service, we'll hold our monthly question and answer session. Reverend Mary and members of the Building Capacity Task Force will be available to answer your questions about building use during COVID-19 and the protocols we'll use when we reopen. To take part, remain on the Zoom call after the coffee hour or join us again at about 11:20. There's a lot starting up in the next few weeks, and there are many opportunities to stay connected to your community, because social distancing doesn't mean social isolation. Please check the website regularly and make sure you receive the weekly electronic update. If you have questions or need help, please check in with a staff member. Now let us open our hearts and minds as we prepare for worship. Welcome everyone. It is good to be together. This morning and every Sunday morning, we join Unitarian Universalist congregations around the world in lighting a chalice, the symbol of our faith tradition. We light our chalices together with these words from Elizabeth Lerner Maclay. As drops of rain that find each other and build to become a track, a rivulet, a stream, a river, a sea, so are we drawn together. So are we fortunate to find each other. So are we bound together on this shared passage toward an unknown ocean and eternity.
Good morning, everyone. It is so good to see all of you and each of you. Our opening words this morning are offered by the Reverend Kathleen McTeague. You who are brokenhearted, who woke today on the winds of despair whistling through your mind, come in. You who are brave but wounded, limping through life and hurting with every step, come in. You who are fearful, who live with shadows hovering over your shoulders, come in. This place is sanctuary, and it is for you. You who are filled with happiness, whose abundance overflows, come in. You who walk through your world with lightness and grace, who awoke this morning with strength and hope, you who have everything to give, come in. This place is your calling, a riverbank to channel the sweet waters of your life, the place where you are called by the world's need. Here we offer love. Here we receive gratitude. Here we make a circle from the great gifts of breath, attention, and purpose. Come in. Come, let us worship together.
Let's sing together again. We'll sing out of the Till Hymn book, hymn number 1007, There's a River Flowing in My Soul. The lyrics are also found in the chat, or you can just wait and I'll call out the next lyric that's inserted and you won't even have to worry about it. There's a river flowing in my soul. There's a river, it's flowing in my soul. And it's telling me that I'm somebody. There's a river flowing in my soul. In my heart, there's a river flowing in my heart. There's a river flowing in my heart, and it's telling me that I'm somebody. There's a river flowing in my heart. In my mind, there's a river and it's flowing in my mind. There's a river flowing in my mind, and it's telling me that I'm somebody. There's a river flowing in my mind. There's a river flowing in my soul.
Good morning. Today's story is from one of my very favorite authors, A.A. Milne. It's entitled, "In Which Piglet is Entirely Surrounded by Water." It rained and it rained and it rained. Piglet told himself that never in all of his life had he ever seen so much rain. And oh my goodness, how old was he? 3 or was it 4 years old? And never had he seen so much rain. If only, he thought as he looked out the window, I'd been in Pooh's house, or Christopher Robin's house, or Rabbit's house when it began to rain. Then I should have had company. Instead of being here all alone with nothing to do except wonder, will it ever stop? It was a little bit exciting to look out the window and see the dry ditches filling up with water and becoming streams, and the streams becoming rivers, and then the rivers becoming a pond or a lake all around his house. But it's also a little anxious, he said to himself, to be a very small animal entirely surrounded by water. Christopher Robin and Pooh could climb trees to escape, and Kanga could escape by jumping, and Rabbit could escape by burrowing, and Owl could escape by flying, and Eeyore could escape by making a loud noise until rescued. But here I am, surrounded by water, and I can't do anything. It went on raining, and the water got a little higher, and now it was nearly at Piglet's window, and still he hadn't done anything. Piglet wondered what each of his friends would have done. And then he suddenly remembered a story that Christopher Robin had told about a man on a desert island who had written something on a piece of paper and put it in a bottle. And Piglet thought if he wrote something on a piece of paper and put it in a bottle and tossed it in the water, perhaps someone would come and rescue him. So he found a pencil and a very small piece of dry paper. And on one side he wrote, "Help, Piglet," in parentheses, "me." And on the other side he wrote, "It's me, Piglet, help, help." And then he rolled up that piece of paper and he found a bottle and he put the paper inside the bottle. He didn't roll it up very well. He rolled it up better. And then he put it inside the bottle and he corked it up and went to his window and tossed it into the water. Meanwhile, when the rain had begun, Pooh was asleep. He had had a tiring day and he was dreaming until suddenly in his dream, there were wild woozles nibbling at his legs, which made them very cold and rather wet feeling. And then he woke up with an, oh my goodness, and he was in water. Well, he had to escape. And so, looking about, he thought, this is serious. He took his largest pot of honey and he climbed up in a tree with it. And then he went back down and he got more pots of honey and climbed up in the tree with those until there was Pooh sitting in a tree and beside him were 10 pots of honey. 2 days later, there was Pooh sitting on a branch and beside him there were 4 pots of honey. 3 days later, there was Pooh sitting on his branch, and there beside him was only 1 pot of honey. And 4 days later, there was Pooh, and he had run out of honey. And it was on that 4th day that Piglet's bottle floated below Pooh. And so, spotting it with a cry of "honey," he dove into the water to grab it. When he climbed back up in his tree and discovered that the bottle only had a piece of paper in it, he said, "Bother! I thought this was something to eat." But getting the paper out, he realized it's a message. And this letter is P, so it must be a message to Pooh, but I can't read it. He could take it to Christopher Robin or to Owl or one of those other clever readers, but he couldn't swim. Double bother. Then he had an idea. And I think that for a bear of very little brain, this was a very smart idea. He thought to himself, if a bottle can float, then perhaps a jar can float. And if I have a large enough jar, perhaps I can float on top of the jar. And so he got his very biggest empty jar of honey and he corked it up tight. And then he thought, A boat must have a name. I shall name my boat the Floating Bear. Together, Pooh and the Floating Bear got down in the water, and for a while they couldn't quite decide who was meant to be on top and who was meant to be on the bottom. But after much negotiation, Pooh settled on top of the Floating Bear, paddling along, and relatively well made his way towards Christopher Robin's house. Now, Christopher Robin lived at the very top of the forest. It rained and it rained, but the water didn't come up all the way to Christopher Robin's house. On the 5th day, Owl came flying by, and Christopher Robin was having a grand old time. Owl, isn't this wonderful? Look at all of this water. And then he asked Owl, have you seen Pooh? I expect he's with Piglet, but I am a little bit worried about them. And then, just then, along came Pooh on his boat, the Floating Bear. Pooh, said Christopher Robin, how did you get here? On my boat, said Pooh very proudly. I had an important message. It's from Piglet, said Christopher Robin when it was handed to him. We must rescue him at once. But when Christopher Robin got a good look at the Floating Bear, he saw how brave Pooh had been, but he also saw that it would not work for two. And that's when Pooh had his second brilliant idea for a bear of very little brain. He said, we might go in your umbrella. Well, you can imagine Piglet's joy when the ship came into sight. In after years, he liked to think that he had been in very great danger. But really, the greatest danger was when Owl came to cheer him up and almost put him to sleep and he fell out of his window. It was with great joy that all of the friends were reunited and safe once again. And so ends our story.
We came into community this morning bringing all that is in our lives, and it is a lot right now. Into this space, we draw on our community for renewal and the strength to hold on to all that we bring here with us. We take the time now to share some of the joys and sorrows that have been offered. If you would like to send in a joy or sorrow this week, please look for the link on the online worship page on the website, and we'll bring it into the service next week. Right now, I invite us to take a breath all together, in and out, as we open our hearts to receive all that is in our community today. Ann Yo mourns the death at age 83 of Carolyn O'Connor. Carolyn was Ann's high school English teacher, as well as a longtime friend and neighbor of Ann's parents. Because Ann lived so far away from her mother in Virginia, Carolyn generously assumed power of attorney for Ann's mother. And Carolyn oversaw the in-home care of Ann's mother during the final few years of her life. To the end of Carolyn's own life, she was a pillar of her community, good-natured and always positive in outlook. Carolyn will be dearly missed. And we send you our love and care in your time of mourning. I invite you to share your sorrows now in the chat box on your screen. We'll do joys in just a moment. Let's hold our sorrows first. And as we take in all that is posted, let us reach out our hearts in love and care to all those who share. I place a stone in the water for all of the sorrows shared. And in the midst of all that is, we look for moments of joy. And there is joy to share today. Frances Tanaka would like to announce the birth of her first grandchild, Ayumi Leah, who was born on September 4th in Berlin, Germany. The Japanese character for the Ayu part of her name means she who chooses her own path. Frances says mom and baby are thriving. Congratulations, Frances, to you and your family. And I invite you to enter your joys in the chat box on your screen. As we take in what is posted, let us reach out our hearts in celebration to all those who share. And place a stone in the water for all of the joys shared. And one more stone for all of the joys and sorrows that we hold in our hearts and that remain unspoken and yet are held by the water of our community. I invite you now into a time of reflection, prayer, and meditation. Infinite web of life, sweet spirit of love, great mystery which confounds us daily. Remind us to breathe, no matter what we need to breathe, the breath of life, the breath of spirit. Breathe. In the stillness of this moment, we offer gratitude. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this sacred time together. Thank you for this community. Thank you for all who make this day possible. Thank you to all who continue their work so that others may live. In these extraordinary times, our lives continue. We mark the milestones of life, birthdays, anniversaries, babies are born, people will die for the usual reasons. On this day, we welcome all that is in our minds and in our hearts, all of the worry, all of the joy, all of the grief, all of the gratitude, all of the feelings. May we hold in love all that is happening in the lives of those gathered here. As we extend our hearts out into our community, we offer blessings and prayers for the safety and health of those affected by the wildfires here in the West. We offer blessings and prayers to those affected by hurricanes and storms and the other effects of climate crisis. We offer our love and care to those who are most vulnerable now, those who are often most vulnerable. We offer hope for a vision of peace and justice in the days and months to come. And on this day, named Grandparents' Day in recognition of the love of elders, we honor the grandparents gathered here. New grandparents like Francis Tanaka and Neil and Mary Marsh, and all those who have filled this important role for some time. We offer our gratitude for their stories and presence in our lives. In the name of all that we hold sacred and holy, we pray this day. Blessed be, and amen. Let us hold a moment of silence together.
Let's sing this chant, "The River is Flowing," together. As you feel like you know it, join in. We'll sing it 3 times. The river is flowing, flowing and growing. The river is flowing back to the sea. Mother, carry me, your child I will always be. Mother, carry me down to the sea. Let's try it together. The river is flowing, flowing and growing. The river is flowing back to the sea. Mother, carry me, your child I will always be. Mother, carry me down to the sea. One more time, here we go, and breathe. The river is flowing, flowing and growing. The river is flowing back to the sea. Mother, carry me, your child I will always be. Mother, carry me down to the sea, down to the sea, down to the sea.
Our prayers and meditations deepen our gratitude for what we know is sacred in our lives and in this world. Each Sunday, we express our gratitude by joining together in service to our community and to something greater than ourselves. The offering collected here will be used to support the continued good works of OUUC and shared with a local organization serving society's well-being in harmony with our Unitarian Universalist principles. This month, our Share the Plate recipient is CIELO, spelled C-I-E-L-O, an acronym for Centro Integral Educativo Latino de Olimpia. CIELO is also Spanish for heaven. Since 1996, CIELO has been providing hope to immigrants in nearby counties. It empowers people to create better lives for themselves and achieve their dreams. And it offers education for all ages, counseling services, and advocacy for those who have been victims of crimes. CIELO has become a community hub where people form strong bonds with other immigrants, staff, and the over 150 volunteers who make the work possible. Please note you can contribute to the offering online through the church website or by texting the number that will appear on your screen in a moment. You may also mail a check to OUUC. Our community partners do need our financial support. May the offering now be generously given as it is gratefully received. Thank you for your generous gifts. Today's reading is one that has been making the rounds on social media. It may have begun as a post on Twitter by British humorist Damien Barr. With gratitude for all who have contributed to it, we offer these words adapted for our service today. I heard that we are in the same boat, but it's not that. We are in the same storm, but not in the same boat. Your ship can be shipwrecked and mine not be, or vice versa. For some, quarantine is optimal, a moment of reflection or reconnection. Easy in flip-flops with a whiskey or tea. For others, this is a desperate crisis. For others, it is facing loneliness. For some, peace, rest time, and vacation. Yet for others, torture. How am I going to pay my bills? Some are in their home office. Others are looking through trash to survive. Some want to go back to work because they are running out of money. Others want to kill those who break the quarantine. Some need to break the quarantine to stand in line at the banks, others to escape. Others criticize the government for the lines. Some who have experienced the near death of the virus, some have already lost someone to it, and some believe they are infallible and they will be blown away if or when this hits someone they know. Some have faith in God and expect miracles during 2020. Others say the worst is yet to come. So friends, we are not in the same boat. We are going through a time when our perceptions and needs may be completely different, and each one will emerge in his own way from that storm. It is very important to see beyond what is seen at first glance. Not just looking, more than looking, seeing. See beyond the political party, beyond biases, beyond the nose on your face. Let us not judge the one who lacks as well as the one who exceeds him. We are not on different ships. We are on different ships looking to survive. Let everyone navigate their route with respect, empathy, and responsibility. This ends our reading.
I found myself saying this phrase several times these last few weeks. With hurricanes and tornadoes, floods and fires, locusts and the plague, things seem pretty biblical right now. If A.A. Milne were alive today, I imagine the title of the story might be "In Which a Small World is Entirely Surrounded by," well, maybe just entirely surrounded. Right now, we are experiencing 500-year floods and a global pandemic like we haven't seen in a century. When the present is so intense, it is hard to remember. It is so easy to forget that the river of time flows on, and that at some point in the future, we will look back at this historic time, telling stories, reflecting on the lessons learned, and making meaning from these events. We don't know yet what all the lessons are or what the meaning will be. I know that I have some hopes and wishes. I bet you do too. In the river of time, today is our water communion service. Unitarian Universalists don't have a liturgical year like some faith traditions. Right now, those of the Jewish faith are preparing for the high holy days at the end of the month, Rosh Hashanah, the Jewish New Year. In the Roman Catholic tradition, in that liturgical calendar, right now is considered ordinary time. While this particular moment is anything but ordinary, in the liturgical calendar, it means that this is a time of no major seasons, like Christmas or Easter. UUs do have traditions and rituals that we return to, like water communion, celebrated in many congregations today across the country, recognizing the beginning of a new church year, sometimes called ingathering or homecoming. Last year on this day, I led my first service as your newly settled minister. We gathered in the sanctuary at OUUC to worship, sharing our hopes for the new year and sharing our water. The water communion tradition is that over the summer, we collect water from places we visit or that have meaning for us. And then we gather to begin a new church year, mingling our water as we mingle our hopes and dreams and voices and actions for justice. It was in this bowl that we combined our water last year. And as is the tradition at OUUC, I collected a sample of our communal water before offering the rest of it to the plants just outside the sanctuary. And this water has been sitting on the windowsill in my office at OUUC since last September, waiting for today. And so for our water communion today, we begin with this water, the water from our past. Last September, who would have imagined how this year would unfold? The river of time flowed on. And like this water from the OUUC kitchen, we experienced together some of the regular milestones of the OUUC calendar. The stewardship drive in October, the Thanksgiving potluck, the December congregational meeting to approve the budget, Christmas Eve services, and books, brownies, and beans. And then the world changed. So just take a breath with me here now. The world changed. And for some of us, like Piglet in our story, at first, it was kind of exciting. It was a crisis, and we responded to the crisis, adapting to get through it. During those first weeks and months, there was a sense of community. We are all in this together. We sheltered in place to care for ourselves and each other. At OUUC, we closed the building. We pulled together to pivot to online worship and pretty much online everything. During those first weeks, there was so much uncertainty. I delivered a message of being between what was and what is. And I said that the world was all shook up like the snow globe with litter. And during those first weeks and months, we reached out to each other for help. In UU communities, we asked, what platform are you using? Zoom, Facebook Live, YouTube? Are you doing services live or recorded? How are you doing choir and music? Those of us on the coast who experienced the pandemic early responded to the questions of those who came into awareness and were affected weeks later. And we answered their questions. How has your worship service changed? How do you do online celebrations of life and other rites of passage? We sent out messages, help, help. We asked and we answered, supporting each other. And the news kept changing and the uncertainty kept growing. The river of time flowed on, and it rained and it rained, and the water got higher and higher. As Piglet said, it's a little anxious to be a very small animal entirely surrounded by water. We got a little anxious. And then on May 25th, a policeman killed George Floyd, a Black man in Minneapolis, over almost 9 agonizing minutes. The world wasn't just all shook up, it erupted. Protests and counter-protests for days and weeks and months. Story after story of Black Americans killed, Indigenous people, especially women, killed and disappeared, people of color killed because of systemic racism. As more and more people contracted COVID-19 and tens of thousands of people died from the virus, it became clear that while we are in this together, we are not all impacted the same. Black Americans make up 13% of the population, but 27% of the COVID cases, and are dying at a rate that is 2.5 times that of white people. Latinx workers are twice as likely as other workers to lose their jobs or income due to the virus. The Navajo Nation has the highest COVID infection rate per capita in the United States. We are in the same storm. We are not in the same boat. Some of us are sailing in luxury liners. Some of us are in yachts. Some of us are in houseboats or fishing boats or canoes or kayaks. Some boats have names like the Floating Bear. Some of us are on rafts or holding on to planks of wood or honey pots and honey jars floating in the water. Some of us are treading water trying to keep our heads above the waterline. And some of us are going under. We are all in the same storm, in the same sea, looking to survive. When the present is so intense, it is easy to forget that the river of time flows on and that we are not alone. We are on the same sea. This water is from Budd Inlet, which connects to the Salish Sea, which connects to the Pacific Ocean, which connects to all of the water on this earth. We are all on the same sea, just looking to survive. And knowing that we would not be able to share our water in person today, over the summer, we asked you to send in your photos of water, water that you visited or that held meaning for you, water that helped you remember that you are connected. I invite you to settle in and open your hearts to receive these images shared. And so here we are, together on the same sea, in the same storm, not in the same boat. And so what do we do with the inequity and injustice on the sea of life? Well, first, we offer life preservers. That means that we support the organizations that help people directly with meals, shelter, healthcare, legal aid, financial assistance. We help each other directly and through our support for the nonprofits that offer help. And second, we build boats for ourselves and boats for each other. That means fundamental restructuring of the systems that are unjust and perpetuate inequality. We build a justice system that is based on restoration of relationships and rehabilitation. We build an educational system that supports learning of all kinds by people of all kinds so that we all may offer our gifts to the world. We build in healthcare as a basic right so that no one dies from lack of access or funds, and so that we all may thrive. We build in equitable wages and a guaranteed minimum income so that no one lives in poverty. There is enough to build boats to carry all of us. I'd like to see the need for life preservers to be rare rather than the norm. And last, we hoist our sails, and with our hearts, we chart the waters never sailed before. With hope, compassion, and love, we continue our journey on the river of time to the sea of life, uncertainty and awe. And for this, we need to stay spiritually grounded and strong, both as individuals and as a community, tending to our connection to the voice within, our connection to each other, and our connection to something that is greater than us. Grounded, and strong. Today we have mingled the waters of our past, our present, and our connection to all that is. For our future, I'll put some of this water in a jar labeled Water Communion 2020, and it will sit on the windowsill in my office at OUUC, waiting for our next water communion service. I won't even pretend to have any idea how this next year will unfold, or what the world will be like next September. But this I do know. We are all in the same sea of life, in the same storm, not in the same boat, and we need each other. Our call to shared ministry has never been stronger. This month, as we explore the spiritual theme of renewal, let us renew our commitment to a shared ministry together. And let us renew our commitment to stay grounded and strong. The river of time calls us to our future together. Blessings to each of you, and blessings to our year of shared ministry together. Blessed be, and amen.
Let's sing together our closing hymn, The Voyage Home. The lyrics can be found in the chat or in your order of service. The water is wide, I cannot get o'er, and neither have I wings to fly. Build me a boat that can carry two, and both shall row, my love and I lean my back up against an oak to find it was a trusty tree. I found you true when first you spoke. 'Tis true you are, and there shall be. Our love shines clearly against the storm, turns darkest night to brightest day, turns turbulent waters to perfect calm, a blazing lamp to light our way. Love is the center of all we see. Love is the jewel that guides us true. No matter what, love, you'll stay with me. No matter what, my love, I'll stay with you. The water is wide, I cannot get o'er, and neither have I wings to fly. Build me a boat that can carry two, and both shall row, my love and I.
We extinguish our chalices with these words from the Reverend Leslie Takahashi. Take care of yourself, of your hands, of your health, of your heart, of your loved ones. Take care to remember you are part of the great family of all beloveds. Take care of your joys, your sorrows, your laughter, your need for connection, your need for quiet contemplation, your need to create the possibility of more joy for all the precious people. And we are all precious people.
Let's join together in singing our unison benediction. Our member Doug McCrae has written a new benediction for us that is set to Sibelius's Finlandia. Doug is here today and is going to sing it through one time, and then we'll join Doug in singing our new benediction. How bountiful the
blessings that surround us. We come together, grateful to be one, as we go forth and greet the day's unwinding. The circle grows as pebbles thrown to pond, and with a spirit guides us on our pathways, abiding in our hearts the bond of love.
Let's join together in singing it. Here we go. How bountiful the blessings that surround us. We come together, grateful to be one, as we go forth and greet the days unwinding. The circle grows as pebbles thrown to pond, and know that Spirit guides us on our pathways, abiding